Hey everybody, how's it going? More test video with the camera. Trying to figure out some spots for lighting. It's different than my other camera. Um, so lighting's a bit random, and I gotta figure it out. And I don't want to get another lighting uh, source due to space and all that. But still doing test videos to see how the camera works and all that. And I thought I'd show you Dark Heresy a bit, the 40k role-playing game, the first one. I did some videos in the past on it, but I want to go ahead and show you inside a little bit and talk about certain key things, kind of like as a preview in case you're interested about the game. It's a role-playing game, and it's set in the 40k universe. And before I get into it, a little bit of backstory on it. Black Industries was the company that was producing the game. Then I think they were, dissolved or merged with Black Library or something like that. But the games went to Fantasy Flight Games, who now produces them. And basically, it's a percentile system or a D100 system. And quite literally, there's a D100 out there, which you can get. It takes forever to stop rolling and really figure out what number you rolled. You gotta look basically right at it once you roll it. So for this example, which if I won't focus, would be this number right here, which is 78. Or if you don't have a D100 and you don't want to get one, you can use 2D10s. Now, if you're going to use the 2D10 route, you're going to need one to represent your 10s place and one to represent your 1s, because basically you're rolling 100 on 2D10s. And one always has to be your 10s spot. So in this case, in this example, this would be the 10s and this would be the 1s. And this example of these two numbers up means that roll is a 7. If you roll it, you rolled a 5 for the 10s place, that's a 50. Adding the number we rolled in the 1 spot gives us 59. There's a little blurb in the book in the introduction section that goes over reading the dice. And if you don't know, I suggest reading up on reading the dice. Bleh. Because reading the dice is going to be important for your rolls. But as a rule of thumb, you want to roll low. This 52 is not the best roll, because you're going to go against your characteristic, or if you're skilled in something, it kind of gives you a boost to the characteristic associated with it. So let's say you have a 42 in ballistic skill. You want to roll equal to or under a 42. That's just the way the system works. So lower is better on rolling and higher is better on a characteristic. With that being said, let's look inside the book a little bit. This is the map of the Calixis sector, or however you pronounce it. And pretty much every book, I think, has a map of some sort like this. Either the same exact map or something else for the Calixis sector, or whatever. But then you move on. We got the little symbol. Contents, the introduction page, going for what you need. And then this page is reading and rolling the dice. And it goes over the different chapters. Now, character creation. This is an important part of any book, and I like what they've done with it. Basically, there's a couple of different stages you have to go through. You gotta determine your home world, and then you can determine your career based on what you can be from a certain home world, and you move on from there. The thing is, with this system, and I'm sure it's not unique, but I just like the way it's done here, is you can be entirely randomized. If you have no idea what you want to be, but you want to play, and you don't care what you roll, you can be random. So right here is a random homeworld generator. There's other homeworlds in other books, and I believe they have a chart if you want to roll random, including that homeworld, like Forge World, which is not here. What you have in the basic book is the core Dark Heresy book is Feral World, Hive World, Imperial World, and Voidborn. Voidborn is spaceship, and you can roll a total D100. The two tens like I showed you, and based on what you rolled, is the homeworld you're from. And then it goes over the homeworlds in detail, what traits, skills, and anything else you may have, as well as what careers you can be. Feral World is limited on their careers. Hive World has pretty much everything that I can remember except Adept. There's no Adept here. Imperial World can be, I believe, everything. So you get the idea. Anyway, once you pick your world, then you have to generate characteristics. And what you do is you roll for each characteristic, and you add your modifier for whatever homeworld you're from. And basically, you roll for each stat. You can roll one additional and you can assign it however you want, or you can roll specifically for each stat. And that gets you your ballistic skill, weapon skill, strength, toughness, agility, intelligence, perception, willpower, and fellowship. And it gives you a little idea of how well you are, how well your character is doing on a little chart for what your characteristics are at. So if you're at 26 or 35, that's average for all humanity, to give you an idea of your stats. Then it goes into career path, and again, it can be random. Based on the homeworld, you have a chart. You roll a d100 again, and it determines what career path you are, which is pretty cool. I've ran basically 2 campaigns, one longer than the other, and almost all my characters randomize at least part, if not most, of their character, which is pretty cool. A lot of them pick their career, but then randomize their homeworld depending on what homeworlds could be that career. Anyways, with the careers, they go over, again, starting skill, starting talent, starting gear, and your starting rank, in case, just for fun. Certain career paths have a little bit more to them, like Imperial Psychers have traits amongst their talents, skills, and gear, as well as a table they roll on for being sanctioned. A sanctioned Psyker, you roll on a table to see pretty much what happened to you during that process. Usually it's nothing good. And with the Tech Priest, you have Mechanicus implants, and this is what you get. And then you spend experience points and buy equipment. For wounds, you roll for your starting wounds, plus a modifier depending on what homeworld you're from. Fate points, again, depending on your homeworld, you roll a d10, and it determines what you how many fate points you get. With wounds, the d5. And then based on your agility bonus, it determines your movement speed. Not going to go too in depth on making a character. They'll go over how you determine what bonus you get. Starting experience and all that. But what's really cool is, well, firstly you got your wealth, and you determine that by a certain number plus a certain number of d10s depending on what class you are or career you are. Then bringing your character to life is giving it the little nuances. Its appearance, age, their past in terms of coloration of their skin, hair, and eyes, some quirks about them, all of which are on a table. You can either pick or you can roll random, and this is where it gets really fun. You also have little like Feral World superstitions, hive classes, basically a little bit more about your character's backstory, a bit fleshing out a bit, which is cool. It helps you build a backstory. You have divination, and divination actually gives you some type of bonus, so that's pretty cool when you roll on that chart. And then lastly, when it comes down to names, you can even randomize your name, so you have a full set of randomization. Pretty much you can roll dice for the entire character creation process and get everything from your character's name, career, quirks, backstory, everything that way, and I think that's pretty cool. Then you have the career paths next, and go into different career paths. Then eventually you have the psychic powers, you have the armory, You have talents and skills and all that. And in the back you have Life in the Imperium, and it goes over the different branches of the Imperium, the Inquisition, the different worlds and war zones, more of a map of the galaxy, and traveling in the Imperium, war and all that. And then you have in the back the section for the Calixic Sector, different worlds, different I think eventually you get the different NPCs. And then in the very back you get some stat lines for things you want to throw at your party. Like if you want them to fight a brainleaf plant, you get the stats for it, which is pretty cool. So anyway, I think this video went on long enough. Also, actually, this is important, alien, heretics, and antagonists. You have things for getting mutations or corruption points, which can actually change your character, maybe even make them evil. And then you have a little bit for the game master himself, which is kind of cool. And a small little like adventure to help you get started, which is also nice. So all in all, it's a pretty cool book. And this, I think, the characters can get really personal as opposed to the other two books out there, because this is basically the character starting off from the very beginning, the very basics, right out of boot camp, whatever it is. The character is proving themselves, surviving, investigating, and fighting. The other two books are really cool. I'm a big fan of Death Watch, for example, but I think if you want truly personable characters, Dark Heresy is probably the most personable you can get. So that's it for Dark Heresy. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I wasn't paying attention to the time. So we'll see how that goes. And if you like things like this, I can go over other books. I can go over Rogue Trader, Death Watch. I can go over the expansion books for Dark Heresy, whatever. So that's pretty much it. And until next time, take it easy.